Most of my friends and colleagues know that I enjoy a fine glass of wine from time to time. And this is especially true of my colleagues that join with me in Chicago periodically and elsewhere as we do the work of our national church. Although it's kind of gotten out of hand with them. Whenever we go out to dinner, they always defer to me to choose the wine. They have created out of me this mysterious wine expert. Well, I hate to burst their bubble, but my process is fairly simple. I know a thing or two about what wines go with what foods, and so I start by asking them to make their dinner choices. And then I choose the varieties of wines based on what will go well with what they've chosen. Once I've made that choice, I consult the wine list and I throw out the most expensive wines and the cheapest wines, focusing on the middle range wines. I then employ all of my knowledge and scientific know-how, and this is the key part of the process. I look for the coolest name. Yeah, that's the secret. And then the final test is the waiter or waitress. I will make my choices and I will listen carefully. If they say, "Fine choice, sir," it's a keeper. If they hesitate, or I get a, I might reconsider. It's quite a process, but it served me well for over a decade. Unfortunately, I think it's processes like this, with all of the wisdom and know how that we bring to it, that we choose our elected leaders. And that's why from time to time we get sour grapes and bad wine. But that's okay, because it's rarely those folks that make a difference in our lives. They are rarely the most important people. In my travels to the wine country each summer, I've come to know a thing or two about the winemaking process. And one of the things that I've discovered is that the most important person in the process is the winemaker. They are part scientist, they are part cook, they are part mystic, and they are a whole lot of magician. It is as they bring all of those things together that they create fine wines. And they do that because they understand what they're working with. They know their soils, they know their grapes, they know weather, they know the people that are part of the process, from the lowliest of vine tenders to the scientists that create hybrid grapes, to those who will work with them in the making process, to those who will pour those wines in the wineries for the likes of us who come to sample. And they know us. They know what we like and don't. With all of that knowledge and with all those gifts, they pull it together to create a wonderful experience for us to enjoy. Jesus was quite a winemaker. We have that wonderful story in John's Gospel where Jesus and his mom have been invited to a wedding reception. The wine runs out. And Jesus takes water and turns it into wine, not just so-so wine, but fine wine, to the point where the steward is baffled because most people serve the fine wine up front and then start serving the cheap wine after everybody gets drunk. But Jesus has produced the best of the wine at the end. And so he continues to do that with the likes of us. He coaxes forth from us gifts that we don't even know we have. He cultivates them, cares for them. He surrounds us with a great cloud of witnesses that complement our gifts with their gifts. He creates of us that mystical experience that we call the body of Christ, that is able to change the world and the lives of those around it and in it. He does that through the gift of winemakers. You know the ones. They're the people in our lives that can do all those things, that know us and know our gifts and talents and have a way of drawing them out so that we are creative and innovative, caring, nurturing. They know how to surround us with just the right people to bring out even more from us than we think we are capable of. They stir us and feed us and drive us. I began to make a list, and it got so exhaustive I had to stop, of all of those people that function in my life. And what I noted was that in this time of COVID, it's been very difficult to maintain the normal working relationships with those winemakers in my life. And it is why at times I found myself in a funk and a fog. Why creativity has come so hard. We have to surround ourselves with our winemakers on a regular basis. Whether that is the great winemaker, Jesus, or the lesser winemakers of those he has sent to make of us a wonderful experience. When we find ourselves in times struggling, where we're running on empty, where we're feeling there's nothing left in the tank, or there's nothing left that we have to give, it's probably a sign we need to seek out one or more of our winemakers. We may need to be creative in how we do that, given all of the restrictions and limitations we face these days. But it's important for us to continue to surround ourselves with those who bring out from us the gifts that we have to offer. And together, who knows what wonderful experiences we may have and what blessings we may be to others as we too make some wonderful wines. So, let the vineyard be fruitful, Lord, and fill to the brim our cup of blessing. Gather the harvest from the seeds that were sown, that we may be fed with the bread of life. Gather the hopes and the dreams of all. Unite us with the prayers we offer now. Grace our tables with your presence, and give us a foretaste of the feast to come.